I'm meteorologist Monica Woods, and we're looking at a pattern shift heading our way through much of this week. A look at our regional headlines. For the coast, mostly sunny skies. For the valley, continuing to deal with some cold mornings ahead. Now, it's going to be sunny and warm for the foothills for the Sierra. Quite a dry stretch heading our way, but we've had a nice gain in our snowpack. At the beginning of December, when we hit that dry stretch, things were looking pretty bleak, but then all of a sudden we got those holiday storms. Look at the difference in our contour. So a lot more in the way of snowpack in the higher elevations. Nice to see those gains. But now we hit that dry stretch. So kind of trying to calibrate where things stand, especially in what should be our wettest month of the year. This is the sheer precipitation totals throughout the state. And what you'll notice is perhaps the bigger numbers, and that's how far above average we are, particularly through Southern California. Northern California, we're going to start to see those numbers dwindle pretty quickly. Again, this is typically the wettest month of the year, so we should be starting to see those numbers pick up. But dry stretches aren't terribly uncommon at this point in the season. It's just we don't want to see it last too long, but it's feast or famine here. We hit 2 weeks of storms and then 2 weeks of dryness. As long as we pick up those storms again in February, which is our second wettest month, things are looking pretty good. And also reservoirs were already really healthy coming into this water year. What we have to deal with in the short-term forecast, frost and fog throughout much of the Central Valley. We see a touch of that into our Tuesday. Things will erode pretty quickly during the afternoon, but then it becomes a bit more widespread into our Wednesday. So that's how things are going to start to play out, and it's going to be rinse and repeat here for the next couple of days, especially as we start to see that inversion. Foothill temperatures will be quite warm during the afternoon, and if we don't break out of that fog, that means we get pretty sucked in. Remember back in December when we hit that stretch of 40-degree highs for quite some time? That's what we're going to be looking at and tracking that to see how that high pressure ridge will play out deeper into the forecast. In the meantime, let's take a look at our Tuesday numbers. Highs in the 40s to near 50 for the high country. We're in the 60s down the hill. Overnight lows are only falling into the 40s to near 50. That's going to be quite a contrast from what the valley is going to be seeing deep in the 30s. For the Central Sierra, highs are in the 50s and low 60s as we head down the hill into the Central Valley. Again, watch out for areas of fog. Highs will be warming into the 50s, still looking at the potential of at least clearing those skies. Now, a real key indicator, look at these Central Coast conditions. Highs are in the 70s through the Monterey Bay Peninsula all the way through the Central Coast. San Luis Obispo at 75 degrees. Central Valley locations in the upper 50s to low 60s. So we're kind of sitting in the middle of these warm conditions along the coast and in the foothills, while the valley is going to be a little bit cooler. Bay Area forecast, we're in the 60s all through Point Reyes, 66 degrees. Antioch, though, once we head towards the Delta, only at 55, and overnight lows are in the upper 30s. Along the northwest coast, a little bit cooler, 50s to low 60s, and inland areas on the north end of the valley are going to be in the 60s, as well as the capital region, upper 50s to low 60s, heading into our Tuesday forecast. So beyond that, things are really going to start to warm up, especially for the Sierra, where we'll likely see a little bit of patchiness forming at lake level for the snowpack. Highs are close to 70 by Thursday for the foothills, and our extended forecast continuing to showcase areas of morning fog, partial afternoon clearing, watching for the extension of those foggy and frosty conditions into next week.